You are tuning into the Goldilocks Productions presentation of the Angels and Healing Light Show. Sit back, relax, and be open to receive the angelic messages and healing channeled through your host, Laura Romeiro.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good day, everybody. Welcome back to Angels and Healing Light. I am Laura Romeiro. I'm an angel intuitive and angel card reader, and I want to remind you that this show is for you. It's to help you connect to your angels for healing, guidance, and support. Now, I know there's a lot of callers always waiting online, and sometimes I can get to you and sometimes I can't. So this is really important. Please don't forget to listen for your message from the angel, because they've told me that each show contains a message specifically for you. So this message is from the angel. So if you aren't able to call in or I can't get to your call, know the angels have a message for you in this show. You know, I have done hundreds of angel readings, probably close to 1,000, maybe more. But one theme that comes up over and over again during my readings is that we all tend to carry around baggage and burdens from the past. You know, heartbreak, loss of a loved one, anger, loss of a job, anxiety, fear. There are so many things that affect us negatively. And sometimes we forget to let go, or we carry emotional ties to that. And you know how when newlyweds get married and they tie tin cans to a car bumper? Well, this is quite similar. Many of us are walking around dragging things behind us that are not necessary. So here, many of us walking around with tin cans tied to our behind. And what happens? It slows us down. It makes noise. It gets in the way of our happiness and certainly new opportunities. But here with us today to talk about just that is Chancy Bolo. Chancy Bolo is a very accomplished bodybuilder, personal trainer, first-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, and a very inspiring speaker. He's also my personal trainer, and I can assure you that even though his body fat, he says, is at 4.5%, mine isn't anywhere near that, unfortunately, despite his best efforts. But he is here today to share his many stories to the world to help others find peace and happiness. He's been through his own school of hard knocks, and he's quite inspiring. So welcome, Chancy. It is such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you, Laura, for that incredible introduction. At first, I went, wow, is that me she's talking about? But thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show, a show that is much needed in our world today, where everyone are hurt and filled with pain and anxiety and anger. So I think your show is an impactful show that is much needed to hear, not only locally, but around the world. So thank you so much for having me. I am privileged to be on with you today.
Well, thank you. You know, Chancy, you and I have had a lot of talks while I'm working out with you, and it's a great way to spend the time when he makes you do another 25 stinking sit-ups. But I was telling him, if one of us is laughing or talking, it makes the hour go by really fast. But I've had the privilege of learning so much from you. You're living around the world, the things that you've experienced, the people you've met, the circumstances that you've come across. And one thing that comes up over and over again is sort of like you seem to be on a personal mission to take that and turn it into something good, which you have done, but also teaching and leading and inspiring others to do the same thing. And, you know, hopefully not having to go through the same things that you have. I know we all have to go through tough times in our life, and many of the people that I've spoken to, especially on the show, is they're where they are now and who they are today because of some difficulties that they've gone through their life. So, you know, they got lemons and made lemonade out of it, and I'm sure it's the way it's meant, you know, turned out the way it's meant to be. But tell me, you have lived around the world, some very interesting places. So tell me where you lived.
Absolutely, and I think going back to what you said is so true. Through our pain, we find our destiny. So we have to use that and turn that into a positive and move forward with it. So absolutely, you're correct. Yeah, I've lived in some interesting places, including Liberia, not Libya, but Liberia in West Africa. I've lived in Texas. That's right, the Marlboro country. I've also lived in Minnesota, where it snows and snow, and now in Florida. In Florida, I consider Florida my home, and it is a wonderful experience for me. But Liberia particularly, I remember a dish, and the dish, they call it kala. And the kala is basically, Laura, like it's like a donut, but it's stuffed. So you can imagine at 6 years old, I'm thinking, I'm going to go have some glazed donuts in the morning. And when I took a bite out of that kala, my mouth and my rear end caught on fire. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And that was at 6 years old. I've met so many young people and so many adults alike who've not only inspired me, but touched me in a way to share my story with the world. And through that, they too can become inspired and let go of their past and pain that they've hurt to become better versions of themselves and live with a solid and purposeful life.
So tell me about some of your experiences, if you don't mind, that have brought you to this realization.
Oh, wow. Some of my experiences, gosh, that is a loaded question, but let's kind of dissect it here. My marriage, for example, I have two awesome and incredible kids. I'm married to a sweet and wonderful and beautiful wife, Cheryl. She's basically my heartbeat, my other heartbeat. And it's been a fantastic journey. When I moved to Florida, I thought my life was over. Here I am in my 30s, young, energetic, and then I moved to Florida. When I moved to Florida, I felt depressed. I felt alone. I felt like, wow, my world has come to an end. But as time progressed, I started to meet incredible people, for example, like yourself and many others. And eventually I met my wife, who's a native Floridian. And today we're married with beautiful kids. And I couldn't see life any other way than the way I am today. But in the past, it wasn't like that.
It's hard to imagine knowing you and your energy level and your general energy. You're happy, you're helpful, you're kind. It's hard to imagine you being depressed and feeling friendless. Everybody,
right.
Every time we go anywhere, you've got a little cult following, and everybody. It's like Norm when he walks into Cheers, everybody turns around and says, "Hi, Chancy."
Yeah, it's been incredible, but in the past, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't that way. My dad, I guess I want to just kind of jump into my story, and hopefully through this story I'm going to share with your audience, they too can kind of get inspired. But in the beginning, my father really wanted me to be married, have kids, settle down, and live a fruitful life. And that was his biggest dream for his favorite son, me, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so he pressed that forward, and it never sunk in, and never sunk in, and never sunk in, and years went by and by, and right to the tail end of my dad's life. And my dad was such an incredible human being. I mean, he was a theologian, had his degree in theology, had a degree in psychology. He's traveled to some of the remote places around the world, from Africa, and he went to school in Ireland. So you can imagine the contrast. But he was such an incredible human being, and I draw strength and and tenacity from his philosophy that he tried to instill within me. But my dad's dream was for me to settle down and have a family. And for a long time, I kept running in circles like a dog chasing its own tail. And towards the end, I finally met the woman of my dream, or so I thought. You know, this lady was absolutely incredible. She was gorgeous. She had an incredible smile. She was sweet. She did everything, you know, stereotypically a guy think a woman should do, plus more. And then time progressed, and of course, my dad, you got to have kids. You got to have kids. You know, he nagged me and nagged me on and on and on. You got to have kids. So finally, we went into the doctor, and the doctor says, you are going to be a dad. Wow. I was thrilled. I was jumping up and down with joy. I was so happy, Laura. The doctor got ignored by me. I was so happy. You know, I was like, really? The doctor says, yeah, really. But let me take a closer listen to the heartbeat. So the doctor leans over, and he listened, and the doctor could hear boo, 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 boo. Okay, we're having a kid. I'm happy. The doctor says, no, you are going to have twins. There's 2 heartbeats in there. Wow. At this time, I was jumping. I was like totally blown away. Wow. Finally, my dream came true, and my father's dream came through as well. Life is good. And so the story went on. We went home that day. You know, we could not sleep. Literally, we went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, preparing the bedroom. The next day, we went to the store. We painted the house. We painted that special bedroom. The following week, we went out and bought clothes. We were ahead of ourselves. And everything that a guy could ever want was there. The following week, we went into the doctor to follow up to make sure that everything is intact with this woman that were carrying my twins. And, you know, it kind of tears me up when I think about it. So we went on. Every week we would go back, and things were looking good. And out of a sudden, we did a first X-ray or sonogram or whatever you call it to see what the baby looks like. Wow. I could see the baby take form and take shape. There was 2 babies in there. I could not tell the sex, but I could see 2 heads in there. And it was. So
you were in there hook, line, and sinker. You were in love with those babies.
I was beyond in love with them. Beyond. We even picked out names. Mm-hmm. Following 2 weeks, we go back for a checkup. Doctor says, hey, everything is going fantastic. The babies are growing. Look, there's the eye. Look, there's the toes. Look, there's the this. Everything is going great. Following month, same thing. We'll go for a checkup. Everything looks good. Everything is there. The heartbeats are there, 155 or whatever, because the baby's heartbeat tend to beat a little bit faster than you and I's. Second month go by. Third month go by. At this time, her belly is sticking out. You can actually feel it. You can touch it. You could, at some point, you see the babies moving, and her stomach was very large because she had twins in there. And then the story went on and on. And Laura, 4 months into the pregnancy, she had an abortion.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, she had an abortion.
Like medically suggested or just on her own?
I don't know. I have no idea. When I found out that day, because it was a total shock to me, I was devastated. My heart, Laura, it literally felt as if someone put their hand into the cavity of my chest and pulled my heart out of there and crushed it and stomped on it, tore it up into a million pieces. I was out. My world was over. My life was over. I was crying. I was sad. I was devastated. I didn't eat for like 2 or 3 days. I only could drink just water to keep me alive. I lost like 15 pounds. And for me to go 2 or 3 days without eating is serious, as you can imagine.
Sure.
And so I kept asking myself, why did this happen to me? Why me?
Mm-hmm.
And so it went on and on and on. And I held on to that pain, Laura, for so long. I held on to it because it was so beyond painful. Beyond painful. I cried every day. And eventually, Laura, I started engaging into self-destructive behaviors, like going out and partying every night, like not trusting anyone anymore, like avoiding handshake, like not even looking people in the face, not trusting a man, not trusting a woman, not trusting family member. So as you can see, it started to deteriorate my life, although I lost those 2 babies. It started to tear me apart from the inside out, as if a plague is taking over my spirit. Why? Because I held burden of pain for such a long time. And it went on and on, and weeks and months and weeks and months. And finally, Laura, my dad called me, son. He calls me Yinetu, by the way. My first name, he calls me Yinetu. And, everyone butcher my first name. It's Yinetu, but I've been called Nintendo and Yinetu and Nintendo. But it's actually Yinetu, and that's why I go by my middle name of Chancy, okay? So my dad called me, and he says, Yinetu, your life will continue to go down the drain. You, son, have to make that choice to let go. Let it go, son. Let it go.
Were you afraid to let it go? Did you think that it would?
Yeah, and I paused and looked my dad in the face to him and looked at him. And with a deep breath, at that moment, I decided to let it go. And it was the hardest decision, Laura, that I've ever made. And I've made some really tough decisions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to let it go. Shortly after I let it go, literally less than 90 days, okay, I met the most magnificent, the most gorgeous, beautiful, breathtaking, true woman and wife of my dream, Cheryl Bolo. And that's how I met my wife, by letting go of the pain in the past. So as you can see, when you let go, Laura, you open a new door of opportunity, a whole new level of joy, of happiness, of bliss, of fulfillment emerges through nowhere. And that was my wife, Cheryl Bolo. And that's how I met my wife. And it is an incredible, incredible story. So I meet my wife, everything started taking off and has continued to take off up to this moment. We meet each other. We fall deeply in love with each other, okay? It was like puppy love, okay? We could not stay away from each other. But my life felt more complete because my wife, a strong spiritual side. She's a dental hygienist, and if she's listening, baby, I love you. But she's a hygienist, but she also has a degree in ministry. So she understood the importance of spirituality and the impact of how important it is. So anyway, fast forward, because I know you have a show here. I could go on and on with this talk. So we meet each other, we fall in love, and we got married. And we had the most incredible beach wedding in Florida that anyone could ever experience. The beach were packed. We had it in December. The sun was perfect. The birds were flying around. You could hear the ocean, the sweet sound of the ocean. You could smell the mist in the air. It was a beautiful thing. And then when you look above in the sky, the shape of the sun, normally it's a round shape, and everyone knows that. But right when the pastor was conducting the ceremony, the sun, okay, and I have pictures of it. Maybe you can put that up. That way your audience can see it. The shape of the sun formed into a giant cross in the sky. And I thought, wow, what a blessing. And everyone at the wedding, including bystanders, were all taking pictures. So once again, as you can see, letting go opens up a door of opportunity. And another thing that I noticed, when you let go, you have to understand that all things works for the good. All things, anything bad that happened to you works for the greater good. Why? Because there's always something better ahead. So let go and understand that all things works for the greater good, works for the better, and there's also something better ahead. And where you are right now is not, if you're experiencing something bad or something negative in your life, that's not where you should be, because when one door closes, two open, as the old cliche goes. When two doors closes, 5 other open. So I think it's important for your audience to understand that everything that happens for the greater good. And so moving on with the story.
Chancy, let me just interject here for a minute. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's some of you that are on the line. In a few minutes coming up, we'll take some time to get a couple of your calls to answer some questions for you. So just hang in there. I just want you to know I recognize that you're there. Chancy, go ahead. Thank you.
And so fast forward with the story, my wife and I, we had a most beautiful beach wedding. We decided to take our honeymoon. And since my wife is a native Floridian, Laura, she decided we're going to go to Canada in December for our honeymoon. And there was so much, and Canada is a cold place, at least in December. But when we took our honeymoon to Canada, it was the most beautiful experience we had together. We drove to the wine countries, and we drove and walked around Canada to the market through Toronto. We went to the museum. We were holding hands. We stopped by some of these hole-in-the-walls, mom and pop's place, and it was like incredible. We stayed at a bed and breakfast place, which I'm never going to forget. The lady was from Spain. She woke up, made us breakfast, and we talked and talked and talked. And the lady finally sent my wife and I off through the day. When we came back from vacation, we got the news that we are pregnant, that my wife was having a baby. Wow. How amazing was that?
And so now it's come full circle, hasn't it?
Right. Now it's come full circle.
And you're happy.
So now, correct. And one of my dreams to have a kid, I always wanted a boy, because boys, we're tough. We can do push-ups together. We can go to Brazilian Jiu-jitsu class, and we can be tough and go for ice creams together. And guess what? When we had our very first child, she was a girl.
and she's a very, very pretty girl.
She is. I love her to death. And we had a girl. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced, knowing that my very first kid was a girl, and that's why we named her Deconti, and it's a native tribal name, is Deconti, and it means everything in this world has its time. So we named her Deconti. Fast forward, after we had our first one, found out we're pregnant again. And this time, I loved my girl so much, I wanted another girl. And guess what happened? We had a boy.
Oh, there's your boy.
Right. And so now, today, we have a girl and a boy. The boy's name is Fuenati. It means wait for your time. Be patient and wait for your time. And then we have Deconti. Everything in this world has its time. So now I have Deconti, and now I have Fuenati. But going back, yes, everything, the two kids that I lost several years back, I feel like it's a reincarnation that I got those two beautiful babies now, and I can live forward. And then that brings me to my third point, Laura, is we have to forgive and let go. And don't blame yourself for bad experiences or negative experiences. I could sit there, and I did blame myself. It's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault, and it's my fault. And blaming yourself, Laura, is like walking on a straight line and trying to look back. If you're walking forward and look back, what's gonna happen? You're gonna fall. So my third point is, do not blame yourself because of any misfortune. Those things are intended to make you strong, to make you more resilient. See, we all teabags. We don't know how strong we are until we get dipped in a pot. So
oh
don't
my gosh,
blame.
I love that.
Yeah, don't blame yourself. And so now my kids, they keep us up all night long and changing dirty diapers and juggling dirty diapers, and we play together, go to the parks together, we eat together. Matter of fact, we're just at the beach I believe on Sunday, and we had the most incredible time. We took a lot of pictures, we built sand sculptures, and it's incredible, Laura, it really is. So as you can see, letting go, I mean, it opens up all types of doors. And maybe, someone have been through something abusive or something traumatic, or perhaps someone have violated you. At some point, you have to understand, by letting go, you become strong. By letting go, it opens up the door to let the healing process begin. And another point, Laura, that I think I need to make, and I know you have to go to your break, is don't say, why me? Don't blame yourself. Why me? Why me? Why this? Why? You have to stop blaming yourself. It is not your fault. Everything that happened was destined to be, in my opinion. So you can never move forward by looking back and blaming yourself over and over. So what we have to do in place of that is we have to see ourselves in the quote unquote the now moment. Focus on today. What can you do today to make you stronger? And so now today, my wife and I, we're married. We love each other. My two beautiful kids, and my life have come full circle, and I couldn't change it for the world. I could never ever give that up.
Well, that is a very powerful story, and you bring to light so many important things. And thank you for sharing those. I know there's a lot of deeply personal thoughts in there, and I really appreciate you sharing them to our listeners. And I know the reason that you're doing that is because we have all at some point gone through something extraordinarily painful. And rather than sit and stew in it and let us let that circumstance mold our future, you're reminding people to take control and take power of their own lives. And I think that people at times are afraid to let go. Number one, they don't know how. Number two, I think they're afraid that sometimes if you let go, then you're letting go of the good in that situation. If there's any good in that situation, let's say loss of a loved one or a broken heart. So sometimes people are afraid to let go because they're going to be throwing out the love or positive aspect of it. And I want everyone to know that the bonds of love can never, ever, ever be broken. So even though it's important to pave your own path for the future, you know that the bonds of love are always going to be with you. There's two ways that I talk about to help people let go of things that no longer serve them or are no longer for their best good. And one of them is very simple, is asking Archangel Michael to cut any cords of attachment, any cords of that are draining, any cords of anything that holds us back, and just simply asking him to cut those cords. And he will come and do that quickly, painlessly, easily. You can do it 100 times a day if you want. And it just frees you up. You don't have to analyze anything. You can just ask him. And sometimes we're not even aware of the impact of people, places, and situations have on us. So when you ask him to come and take care of that, you just don't have to worry or make sure that you're doing something right. Another very interesting way of letting go of the past is a Hawaiian practice called Ho'oponopono. And it was invented by a Hawaiian therapist who cured an entire ward of criminally insane patients without even meeting any of them or spending any time with them. I think he got their files and sat on a desk and opened each file, and he said the following words. He said, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you." And he did that for every single person. And I'm sorry. Well, like you said, if you think you're responsible for everything, maybe you're not. You can be sorry to somebody that you've hurt or to somebody that has hurt you. Please forgive me for anything I've done to hurt you. Please, thank you, and I love you. That's all you need to do. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Very, very simple. And there's no justification, no analyzing, just peace and love and tranquility, and let it go. So I'm going to take a caller right now, Chancy, and then when we take this caller, I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask you to talk about the speaking engagements that you do for our children and adults in the community to help them. So Area code 267, please say hello, and do you have a question for Chancy?
I don't have a question. I have a statement. I did have a question, but that is the most amazing story. I was listening to the whole thing, and that says it all. I don't even have a question.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Well, and it's just a powerful message, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you for that.
Well, you are very welcome. And as I stated, sometimes we have to bite our pride and share our stories with the world and other people. And through that, you bring about healing and a peace of mind. So I'm thrilled and I'm blessed to have that opportunity to share my story with not only you, but with folks around the world. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did want to ask. I do want to ask this one thing. Do you see anything in the relationship category? I've let go of everything, but.
Well, what's your name?
My name's Donna. I'm sorry. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay, Hi, Donna. The inside staying warm and dry today, I hope. Let's see. Let me think about this. So we're going to ask Archangel Raphael, who is the healing angel, and also Archangel Shamuel, who is the angel of love and relationships. And the two of them together make a pretty formidable and powerful team. So when you're thinking about relationships, make sure to ask for their help, their guidance, and So do you work in a or frequent something like a market-like setting? I see you in a market, like a fresh market type setting where.
No, I work at a hospital, housekeeping. Yes.
Well, there's somebody that's coming up for you, but it's going to be kind of one of those things where you meet them, at the market. I keep seeing the produce section, beautiful, fresh, bright, and I see you there at the produce section, and it's just something that's going to make you laugh out loud. So keep an eye out for that.
It's funny. My girlfriend, I'm always at the produce store, especially in the summer. I love produce, and she keeps saying, "Do you have a boyfriend at the produce store or something? You're always at the produce store." That's funny.
Yes, you will have one from the produce store. So.
I wish I let her hear this.
Thanks for calling, Donna.
Okay, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Chancy, I know that you are a person, you share your message with others, and I know that one of the things that you do is you talk to children in our youth organizations, and also you do speaking to adults.
Right.
But it really inspires. I think it's really inspiring that you go and talk to kids, and you tell me that you tell them, they don't have any limitations in their life. So can you give us some idea of what you talk about? Because when we're growing up, maybe some of us have heard some of these messages and we forgot, or maybe we just thought it was boring at the time and went to sleep. I can't imagine you speaking ever be boring, especially because I think you take pizza. But yeah. Tell me, what do you say? What do you say to the kids to help them see that they don't have to be limited by their surroundings or by their thoughts?
We cannot let our environment dictate where we should be or where we should go in life. Not only with young people, with kids, but with adults alike. So what I try to do is just kind of bring awareness to the forefront of their minds and their heads, that way they can realize their full potential. So what I try to do, Laura, is inspire kids to start thinking outside of the box. I try to inspire adults to start thinking outside of the box and go, hey, if we can think slightly different this way or that way, it can kind of move us forward in a direction where we become better versions of ourselves. So today we're speaking about letting go. Tomorrow it might be something else. The next day it might be something else. So my topics are based around self-growth. And through self-growth, we not only grow ourselves, but we also help others to grow. And through that, our world becomes a better place. So my professional speaking is basically based around self-growth and self-drive.
Now, what do you say to kids that, let's say that they, kids really have a hard time seeing the future beyond, today, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's hard for them to imagine that there's anything long-term down the road. Mm-hmm. And I think, adults say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's such a big step. But what about the kids that don't have a lot to look forward to? how do you get them to look inward? How do you get them inspired? How do you get them to see that there's more to their immediate situation?
Absolutely. Great point. The first thing that comes to mind, the younger people need to realize that, hey, we live in a time where you can become and do whatever you set your mind to. So they have to work hard. If you're listening, you have to work hard. You have to work your butt off, and you have to have that tenacity, that spirit, that drive to never give up. Figure out what you want to do and follow your dreams and never give up. And at times, things might seem as if I cannot do it anymore. I cannot do it. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go play video games. No, do not allow yourself to do that. Work hard and push hard. And another thing I think with the younger generation, you have to be patient. There's an expression in Liberia we use a lot. It says, patient dog always get the fattest bone. Okay, so if you are patient, whatever you want, whatever your heart desire, whatever you want to become eventually gives way, and that's how success works. There's no successful person in this world that's become successful just by not being patient and not hard work. You have to work hard, and you have to be patient. And those principles, Lauren, don't only apply to young people, but it applies to adults as well. You know, someone might be trying to go after their dreams, and it may seem tough at first, like there's no breakthrough. When am I going to get a break? When am I ever going to get a breakthrough? Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep forging. And eventually, the floodgates open, and you eventually become successful. And if you need a speaking engagement, you can always send me an email, I believe, at the attachment on the bottom, and I'll be more than glad to come and speak to your group.
What is your website, Chancy? Because I know you have a lot of information on your website about health and your speaking engagements, and you put you have a blog that has great information on nutrition and holistic products for the home. So what is your website?
I think I can give my email is cbololive@gmail.com. That's C as in cat, Bolo as in be on the lookout, live@gmail.com, or Chancy at chancyfit.com. There's a lot of free information. I have that there for everyone to use for free, and you can also get a hold of me if you have any specific question or perhaps just need to talk to someone. I'm always available to lend a listening ear.
Well, that's wonderful. And I know you're writing a book.
Right. I'm writing a book.
I can't wait till you finish that whenever that happens. It's going to be very interesting.
It will be. And it is a book of bunch of compilations of various things that happen to me in life. Some are happy, some are funny, some are sad. But through those stories, people would become more inspired through reading a book. You know, and another point that I wanted to make, Laura, point number 4, is don't listen to the negative voices. Don't listen to if you have any negative thought, any negative voice in your head, you have to replace that with, I'm great, I'm loved, I am beautiful, I am this, I am, follow with a positive word or a positive thought. And through that, all of that negative junk that we gather in our head eventually comes out of our head and get tossed into the ocean. So we have to replace any negative thoughts with positive thoughts.
Well pointed out. So, ladies and gentlemen, the next time something happens, you say, "Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm don't do it." You can say cancel, clear, delete. Just cancel, clear, delete, and replace that thought with something more positive, like Chancy said. And I think you'll notice when you do that your energy will change and it will lift and it will lighten. And I think it's important to have a sense of humor about yourself. I know I've got a whopping sense of humor about myself. Just call me Grace. I have to have one. But you know what? As Popeye always says, I am what I am, what I am. And you are what you are. And what you all are perfect and works in progress and beautiful works of light and love. Everybody's full of inspiration. Everybody's full of healing energy, healing knowledge, beautiful hearts, beautiful light. So don't forget that. Don't forget that part of yourself. I think that gets buried through the mundane daily life of living and responsibilities and pressures. And so, ladies and gentlemen, take a few minutes every day to remember who you are at your soul. Remember the good that's in you. Remember to shine that light. I brought that up a couple of weeks ago, but shine that beautiful light that's in your heart and soul. And remember, give yourself credit for the things that you do. Keep your thoughts about yourself and others as positive as possible. And I guarantee that life will be brighter and lighter and easier for you. We all have unlimited potential, and somebody like Chancy that takes that potential and takes those difficult situations and turns them into healing energy and healing light and healing words. You know, what's beautiful about what you do, Chancy, is you really will never know the real outcome of how you affect people down the road. That has a ripple effect. And I think that's incredible. So I thank you for what you do, and please keep doing it.
Absolutely.
So do you have any... Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Laura.
Well, I was just going to say, what guidance, what for people that are going through a difficult time or just don't think they're worthy, for instance. I run into a lot of people that when I do my readings that don't feel that they're deserving. What could you say about that?
I think those people, as I stated on my last statement, you have to start replacing any negative thought with positive ones. And don't blame yourself, and know there's a brighter day tomorrow. Surround yourself with good, positive people that can help you grow, people that can help fortify you, people that care about you, and people that will accept you for who you are. Nothing more and nothing less. So by doing that, and as you stated, the light will shine bright from the inside out.
That is beautiful. That is perfect. And, you know, we many times we'll find ourselves in company of people that may try to get in our way or stop us from achieving our dreams or belittle us for chasing our dreams. But you've got to follow that energy and that drive that's in your heart. And if you're completely driven in your heart to do something, then take that as a sign that's one of your missions in life to do. And just pursue it with the vim and vigor and joy that is possible, and let it help lead you to where you need to be and who you need to be. Remember, you've always got angels to help you. You've got your guides, your loved ones that want to see you do well and succeed, like your father did for you, to tell you, snap out of it. It's time to move on. And we all have that. So all you ever need to do is ask your angels to help you, and you can just let it go after that. My goodness, what a wonderful hour to spend with you, Chancy. Very powerful information and stories. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that his words have helped you. I hope they help you let go of something that's been holding you back or causing you pain. Just let it go and wish it good luck. send it love and let it go like a balloon off into the sky. And remember, you can always reach Chancy at Chancy at chancyfit.com.
Or email me
his
at
website, please.
Right. Or email me at cbololive@gmail.com.
cbololive@gmail.com.
Right.
If you're in the Sarasota area, Sarasota, Manatee, Charlotte County, somewhere in that area, you know what? Give him a call because he is a wonderful speaker, as you've just heard, and he really cares. I can tell you that much. So, and he's got a really great story about how he talking about missions and talking about being driven. You went and reconnected with a family member that you had not had contact with in years and years.
Yes.
And you were bound and determined to do that. And it was at risk of being soundly rejected, but it was in your heart, and you made it happen, and it turned out to be a wonderful thing, didn't it?
It turned out to be a wonderful relationship now. He and we talk to each other literally every single day, and I love him very much, and I'm sure he feels the same about me. He calls, and I call him, and it's just wonderful. But when you let go of the past, Laura, I'm telling you, it worked for me extremely well, and I have no doubt that it will work for your listeners as well. But I connected with him, and he was mad at a family member in the past, and he decided he's not going to speak to that family member. And years went by, 30-plus years went by, and I decided to go find him. Coincidentally, he lived in Florida. I mean, a coincidence. This is a man that I've never seen in 30 years. Connected with him and showed up to his door, knocked on his door. He looked at me. I looked at him without us saying a word, and he just began to cry. And he said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. So 30 years later, he decided to let go. And now, today, we have a beautiful relationship. So if it's a family member that did you wrong, if it's a workmate that did you wrong, if it's a spouse that did you wrong, if it's a loved one that, whatever the situation may be, I am challenging you, okay? I challenge all of your listeners to let it go. Let it go.
You heard the man. Let it go. And please email Chancy or email me at Laura at, I always get this wrong, Laura at angelsandhealinglight.com. Email me. Let me know how that goes. I want to know who's up for this challenge and how it went for you and how it changed your life. But email Chancy at cbololive
at gmail.com.
gmail.com. And let him know how it helped. Let him know how it helped you, because this is no small potatoes we're talking here, ladies and gentlemen. I would really like to know how it's worked out for you and the difference that it's made in your life. So, Donna, thank you for calling in. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today again. Thank you, Chancy Bolo, for your wonderful insight and stories and guidance and challenge. So thank you very much for being with me today.
And it's an honor to be here on your show. And as I stated in the beginning, your show is much needed for healing, peace, and stability, and also a peace of mind. So thank you, and keep up the good work with what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'll see you at the gym.
Okay. Have a good day. And for everyone out there, and as Tony Robbins will always say, live with passion.
Yes.
Okay.
Many blessings to you, your family, and to everyone. Thank you, Tiffany, Reverend Tiffany at Goldilocks Productions, for making this happen, the show. She is a wonderfully hearted lady, and I look forward to having her as a guest on my show very soon, too. So thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. If you'd like a reading, you can reach me at laura@angelsandhealinglight.com. All right, go take on that challenge and let me know how it goes. Until next week, bye now.